Sandman Stories presents The Wedge Pulling Monkey. There was a city in a certain region. In a grove nearby, a merchant was having a temple built. Each day at the noon hour, the foremen and workers would go to the city for lunch. Now one day, a troop of monkeys came upon the half-built temple. There lay a tremendous anjana log, which a mechanic had begun to split, a wedge of acacia wood being thrust in at the top. There the monkeys began their playful frolics upon the treetop, lofty roof, and woodpile. Then one of them, whose doom was near, thoughtlessly bestrode the log, thinking, "Who stuck a wedge in this queer place?" So he seized it with both hands and started to work it loose. Now what happened when the wedge gave at the spot where his private parts entered the cleft? That, sir, you know without being told. And that is why I say that meddling should be avoided by the intelligent. And you know, he continued, that we too pick up a fair living just from his leavings. But, said Victor, how can you give first-rate service merely from a desire for food with no desire for distinction? There is wisdom in this saying, in hurting foes and helping friends, the wise perceive the proper ends. Of serving kings, the belly's call, to answer is no job at all. And again, when many lives on one depend, then life is life indeed. A crow with beak equipped can fill his belly's selfish need. If loving kindness be not shown to friends and souls in pain, to teachers, servants, and oneself, what use in life, what gain? A crow will live for many years and eat the offered grain. A dog is quite contented if he gets a meatless bone, a dirty thing with gristle strings and marrow fat alone, and not enough of it at that to still his belly's moan. The lion scorns the jackal through between his paws to smite. The elephant, for everyone, however sad his plight, demands the recompense that he esteems his native right. Dogs wag their tails and fawn and roll, bare mouth and belly at your feet. Bull elephants show self-esteem, demand much coaxing ere they eat. A tiny rill is quick to fill, and quick a mouse's paws. So seedy men are grateful when there is but little cause. For if there be no mind, debating good and ill, and if religion send no challenge to the will, if only greed be there for some material feast, how draw a line between the man-beast and the beast? Or, more accurately yet, since cattle draw the plow through rough and level soil, and bend their patient necks to heavy wagons toil, are kind of sinless birth, and find in grass a feast, how can they be compared with any human beast? But at present, said Cheek, we two hold no job at court, so why meddle? My dear fellow, said Victor, after a little, the jobless man does hold a job. As the saying goes, the jobless man is hired for careful serving. The holder may be fired, if undeserving. No character moves up or down, at others smile or others frown, but honor or contempt on earth will follow conduct's inner worth. And once more, it costs an effort still to carry stones uphill. They tumble in a trice, so virtue and so vice. Well, said Cheek, what do you wish to imply? And Victor answered, you see, our master is frightened, his servants are frightened, and he does not know what to do. How can you be sure of that? asked Cheek. And Victor said, isn't it plain? An ox can understand, of course, the spoken word, a driven horse, or elephant exerts his force. But men of wisdom can infer unuttered thought from features stir, for wit rewards its worshipper. And again, from feature, gesture, gait, from twitch or word, from change in eye or face, is thought inferred. So by virtue of native intelligence, I intend to get him into my power this very day. Why, said Cheek, you do not know how to make yourself useful to a superior. So tell me, how can you establish power over him? And why, my good fellow, do I not know how to make myself useful? Said Victor. The saintly poet Vyasa has sung the entry of the Pandu princes into Virata's court. From his poem I learned the whole duty of a functionary. You have heard the proverb, no burden envenerates the strong. To enterprise no road is long. The well-informed all countries range. To flatterers no man is strange. But Cheek objected. He might perhaps despise you for forcing yourself into a position that does not belong to you. Yes, said Victor, there is point in that. However, I am also a judge of occasions, and there are rules as follows. The Lord of Learning, speaking to a false occasion, will meet with hatred and, of course, lack all persuasion. And again, the favorite's business comes to be a sudden source of king's ennui, when he is thoughtful trying sense, retiring, or in conference. And once again, on hours of talk or squabbling rude, of physic barber flirting food, a gentleman does not intrude. Let everyone be cautious in palaces of kings, and let not students rummage in the professor's things. For naughty meddlers suffer destruction swift and sure, like evening candles lighted in houses of the poor. Or put it this way, on entering a palace adjust a modest dress, go slowly, bowing lowly, in timely humbleness, and sound the kingly temper, and kingly whims no less. Or this way, though ignorant and common, unworthy honoring, men win to royal favor by standing near the king, for kings and vines and maidens to nearest neighbors cling. And once again, the servant in his master's face discerns the signs of wrath and grace, and though the master jerk and tack, the servant slowly mounts his back. And finally, the brave, the learned, he who wins to bureaucratic power, these three alone of all mankind can pluck earth's golden flower. Now let me inform you how power is gained by dancing attendance on a master. Win the friendly counselors to the monarch dear, win persuasive speakers, so gain the royal ear. On the undiscerning mob, 'tis not wise to toil. No man reaps a harvest by plowing barren soil. Serve a king of merit, though friendless destitute. After some delay you pluck long-enduring fruit. Hate your master and you fill servant's meanest state, not discerning whom you serve. 'Tis yourself you hate. Treat the dowager, the queen, and the king to be chaplain, porter, counselor, most obsequiously. One who seeks the van in fights, in the palace clings, in the city walks behind, is beloved of kings. One who flatters when addressed, does the proper things, acts without expressing doubts, is beloved of kings. One, the royal gifts of cash, prudently who flings, wearing gifts of garments, he is beloved of kings. One who never makes reply that his master stings, never boisterously laughs, is beloved of kings. One who never hearkens to queenly whisperings, in the women's quarters dumb, is beloved of kings. One who, even in distress, never boasts and sings, of his master's favor, he is beloved by kings. One who hates his master's foe, loves his friend and brings pain or joy to either one, is beloved of kings. One who never disagrees, blames or pulls the strings of intrigue with enemies, is beloved of kings. One who finds in battle peace, free from questionings, thinks of exile as of home, is beloved of kings. One who thinks of dice as death, wine as poison stings, others' wives as statues, he is beloved of kings. Well, said Cheek, when you come into his presence, what do you intend to say first? Please tell me that. And Victor replied, answers after speech begins, further answers breed, as a seed with timely rain ripens other seed. And besides, a clever servant shows his master the gleam of triumph or disaster, from good or evil courses springing, and shows him wit, decision bringing. The man possessing such a wit should magnify and foster it, thereby he earns a livelihood, and public honor from the good. And there is a saying, let any one who does not seek his master's fall unbidden speak, so act at least the excellent, the other kind are different. But, said Cheek, kings are hard to conciliate. There is a saying, in sensuous coil and heartless toil, in sinuous course and armored force, in savage harms that yield to charms, in all these things are snakes like kings, uneven, rough, and high enough, yet low folks roam their flanks as home, and wild things haunt them hungry gaunt. In all these things are hills like kings. Things that claw and things that gore are unreliable things, and so is a man with a sword in his hand, and river and women and kings. Quite true, said Victor. However, the clever man soon penetrates the subject's mind and captivates. Cringe and flatter him when angry, love his friend and hate his foe, duly advertise his presence, trust no magic, win him so. And yet, if a man excel in action, learning fluent word, make yourself his humble servant, while his power is stirred, quick to leave him at the moment, when he grows absurd. Plant your words where profit lies, whiter cloth takes faster dyes, till you know his power and manhood, effort has no scope, moonlight's glitter vainly rivals Himalaya's slope. And Cheek replied, if you have made up your mind, then seek the feet of the king, Blessed be your journeyings. May your purpose be accomplished. Be heedful in the presence of the king. We also to your health and fortune cling." Then Victor bowed to his friend and went to meet Rusty. Now when Rusty saw Victor approaching, he said to the doorkeeper, "Away with your reed of office. This is an old acquaintance, the counselor's son Victor. He has free entrance, let him come in. He belongs to the second circle." So Victor entered, bowed to Rusty, and sat down on the seat indicated to him. Then Rusty extended a right paw, adorned with claws as formidable as thunderbolts, and said respectfully, "Do you enjoy health? Why has so long a time passed since you were last visible?" And Victor replied, "Even though my royal master has no present need of me, still I ought to report at the proper time, for there is nothing that may not render a service to a king. As the saying goes, to clean a tooth or scratch an ear, a straw may serve a king. A man with speech and action is a higher kind of thing. Besides, we who are ancestral servants of our royal master follow him even in disasters. For us, there is no other course. Now the proverb says, 'Set in fit position each, gem or serving man. No tiaras on the toes, just because you can. Servants leave the kings who their qualities ignore. When kings of lofty line, wealthy served of yore, lacking honor from their equals, jobless déclassé, servants give their master notice that they will not stay.' And again, if set in tin, a gem that would adorn a golden frame will never scream nor fail to gleam, yet tells its wearer's shame. The king who reads a servant's mind, dull, faithless, faithful, wise, may servants find of every kind, for every enterprise. And as for my master's remark, it is long since you were last visible. Pray hear the reason of that. Where just distinction is not drawn between the left and right, the self-respecting, if they can, will quickly take to flight. If masters no distinction make among their servants, then they lose the zealous offices of energetic men. And in a market where it seems that no distinctions hold between a red eye and a ruby, how can precious gems be sold? There must be bonds of union in all their dealings, since no prince can lack his servants, nor servants lack a prince. Yet the nature of the servant also depends on the master's quality. As the saying goes, in case of horse or book or sword, of woman, man, or lute or word, the use or uselessness depends on quality the user lends. And another point. You do wrong to despise me because I am a jackal, for silk comes from worms, and gold from stone. From cow's hair sacred grass is grown. The water lily springs from mud. From cow dung sprouts the lotus bud. The moon its rise from ocean takes, and gems proceed from hoods of snakes. From cow's bile yellow dye stuffs come, and fire in wood is quite at home. The worthy by display of worth attain distinction, not by birth. And again, kill, although domestic born, any hurtful mouse. Bribe an alien cat who will help clean the house. And once again, how use the faithful lacking power, or strong who evil do? But me, O king, you should not scorn, for I am strong and true. Scorn not the wise who penetrate truth's universal law. They are not men to be restrained by money's petty straw. When beauty glistens on their cheeks by trickling ichor lent, bull elephants feel lotus chains as no impediment. "Oh," said Rusty, "you must not say such things. You are our counselor's son, an old retainer." "Oh, king," said Victor, "there is something that should be said." And the king replied, "My good fellow, reveal what is in your heart." Then Victor began, "My master set out to take water. Why did he turn back and camp here?" And Rusty, concealing his inner feelings, said, "Victor, it just happened so." "Oh, king," said the jackal, "if it is not a thing to disclose, then let it be. Some things a man should tell his wife, some things to friend and some to son. All these things are trusted. He should not tell everything to everyone." Hereupon Rusty reflected, "He seems trustworthy. I will tell him what I have in mind, for the proverb says, 'You find repose in sore disaster by telling things to powerful master, to honest servant, faithful friend, or wife who loves you till the end.' Friend Victor, did you hear a great voice in the distance?" "Yes, master, I did," said Victor. "What of it?" And Rusty continued, "My good fellow, I intend to leave this forest." "Why?" said Victor. "Because," said Rusty, "there has come into our forest some prodigious creature, from whom we hear this great voice. His nature must correspond to his voice, and his power to his nature." "What?" said Victor. Is our master frightened by mere voice? You know the proverb. Water undermines the dikes. Love dissolves when malice strikes. Secrets melt when babblings start. Simple words melt dastard hearts. So it would be improper if our master abruptly left the forest, which was won by his ancestors, and has been so long in the family. For they say, wisely move one foot, the other should its vantage hold, till assured of some new dwelling, do not leave the old. Besides, many kinds of sounds are heard here, yet they are nothing but noises, not a warning of danger. For example, we hear the sounds made by thunder, wind among the reeds, lutes, drums, tambourines, conch shells, bells, wagons, banging doors, machines, and other things. They are nothing to be afraid of. As the verse says, if a king be brave, however fierce the foe and grim, sorrows of humiliation do not wait for him. And again, bravest bosoms do not falter, fearing heaven's threat. Summer dries the pools, the Indus rises greater yet. And once again, mothers bear on rare occasions to the world a chief, glad in luck and brave in battle, undepressed in grief. And yet again, do not act as does the grass blade, lacking honest pride, drooping low in feeble meanness, lightly brushed aside. My master must take this point of view and reinforce his resolution, not fear a mere sound. As the saying goes, I thought at first that it was full of fat. I crept within, and there I did not find a thing, except some wood and skin. How was that? Asked Rusty, and Victor told him the story of the jackal and the war drum.